naka def
yow foo joxee
mbaa def la suma tool balaa wari woon
man de man faa tëhi man
yaa ngi toog di daa dégg son
man faa tëhi di man suma tool bi fa booy baaxatul
xanaa doo dee use engrais fertilizer
man loolu yow wuti ko foofu faa tëhi dem ca dépôt ba dafa wuti fa sori
gis nga mbayum léegi boo amul fertilizer du baax de engrais kenn jëndeetu ko ci def
boo ko jëlee ci dépôt foo koy amee
kay yaa ngi doog a ñëw xam nga Reliance banque bi ñuy wax Reliance
faa koy dégg waaw
kay gis nga boo demee Reliance ci boppam foofu ngay fayee saako yi nga bëgg nu mu toll nga fay ba pare ñu jox la sa receipt gis nga receipt boobu ñu lay jox moom ngay yóbbu nag ca dépôt ba
kon fu ne ko dem ci dépôt ba te yóbbu la kay doo ko am
déedéet
fu ne su ma jógoon su ma xaalis ba dem ci dépôt ba du ma am
déedéet doo am foog nga dem Reliance fay ba pare
waaw
soo ko dem nag ak sa receipt ca dépôt ba waa Gambia Granite Corporation lii la ñu wax
yow fi ne fa nga jëm ni la
waaw fa laay dem bi
kon kay ni jàmm jox la nga jëndaaleel ma ay yow ma de fi di saako doon yàgg te duma ko xam
maa la ko wax de
boo àggee jëndaaleel ma
mbokk yi nii lañ ko bëggee waa Gambia Granite Corporation ñu ne saako engrais $700 dong lay jar muy $200 rek yomb na lool daw leen Reliance bu leen gën a jege si PMS tam dañuy jaay comme ni ko Reliance di jaayee boo fa demee dinañ la jaay te engrais bii pour réew mi kese la bëgguñ mu génn réew mi
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulaling. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
Hello Gambia. Your television experience is about to be transformed to the next level. Enjoy amazing features with the new DTT decoder by XCAF. Watch television in high definition and excellent sound quality. Watch Gambian channels such as GRTS, QTV, Star TV, Paradise TV and MTA with one decoder, all for free. That's not all. For a monthly subscription of $510, you get 60 international channels from your favorite football leagues, news, African movies, telenovelas, cartoons and much more. Get the decoder for $2,040, which comes with free installation, 24/7 customer and technical support all year round, and 1 month free subscription for only $510 thereafter. Get the decoder at XCAF Gambia, located at Hendon Court Building, former Dream Park, Senegambia, or through approved dealers. For more info, call 446-1060 or 446-1061. The world is at your fingertips with the XCAF DTD decoder.
It's a warm welcome here in our studio in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Memuniju Fadera. In the headlines tonight, in a press release sent to media houses, the Gambia Armed Forces frowns up military items sold by businessmen and warned it could lead to criminal acts by civilians. Parochial consideration of law has delayed Gambians for 22 years, revealed Sidia Jatha, the National Assembly members' debate on the 2020 Labour Amendment Bill. The Birkama Area Council chairman vows not to resign despite calls for him to tender his resignation. 17 health workers taken into quarantine after they had contact with the third deceased COVID-19 patient. Residents of Ibo town seek help from the government to attain better living conditions in the rainy season. On the international scene, U.S. killing of Iran's Hassim Soleimani unlawful, says UN expert. Trump calls for reopening of U.S. schools amid COVID-19 pandemic. UNSC, Russia, China veto cross-border aid extension to Syria. Well, those were the headlines, and now the news in details. In a press release sent to Star TV, the Gambia Armed Forces has observed with dismay the unauthorized importation and sale of military items such as uniforms, jackets, boots and caps by some individuals and businessmen. Also, some people who are not serving members of the Gambia Armed Forces are engaged in the indiscriminate use and in some instances abuse of the military camouflage, combat boots and caps in the public. This development is unfortunate and, if unchecked, could be used by organized criminal gangs and unscrupulous individuals, not only to impersonate members of the armed forces but also to perpetrate crimes within the community. It may be instructive to note that it is prohibited under Section 169, subsection 1, 2 and 3 of the Criminal Code laws of the Gambia to use and engage in the importation and sale of military uniforms and regalia without authority. Therefore, individuals and businesses involved in this use, importation and sale of military stores are advised to comply with this advisory to avoid confiscation and possible legal action. The Gambia Armed Forces wishes to reiterate its commitment to maintaining the peace and security of this country and therefore will not compromise on issues that have the potential to threaten national security. The cooperation of the general public is highly solicited. In view of this, I am directed to kindly request you to disseminate this information for the benefit of the general public. The release ends. Sidia Jaffa, Member of Parliament for Woolly West, told lawmakers on Monday that parochial consideration of law has delayed the Gambia for over 22 years. Jaffa said this while delivering on the motion to amend Local Government Bill 2020. Jacqueline Colley reports.
Mr. Jatta said that the reason why the local government bill is amended 9 times since 2002 is because it was amended for a particular purpose, and stated that when parochialism characterizes legislation, there is a problem, and that is the problem confronting the country.
We are having problem with legislation because we are parochial in our consideration of the laws that we make. And that is what is dangerous for this country. And that is what has deterred this country for 22 years. And now we are repeating it.
He said that the debate on the said bill has both deep and surface structures, but noted that the concentration is based on the surface structure rather than a deep structure.
When the fundamental question is about the deep structure, and the question is, Madam, if you allow me to cite, if he or she ceases to be a member of the political party of which he or she was a member at the time of his or her election, does this promote democratic values or does it negate them? That's the fundamental question. This is what we have to address. Full stop. Nothing else. Does this promote the values that we stand for, that we are defending in these chambers? That is the fundamental question. And that is the deep structure of the question. And the surface structure, people say, you are brought here by a political party. That's the question. The question, that's an understatement. Everybody knows that some come here as independents, some come here as members of political parties. That's not the question. The question is, how do you promote democratic values? How do you maintain the power of the people? The only people who should decide the power of the people. That is what you represent. That's why you are powerful. Somebody was talking about your power. It is the power of the people that you are exercising here. And the fundamental question, does anybody have right to negate that?
He He challenged the lawmakers to not speak as politicians, but legislators when making laws. He noted that the laws are not made for individuals, but for generality to serve purpose for posterity.
So, Madam Speaker, I think we have to rethink. We are lawmakers. Above everything else, the country hangs on our shoulders in terms of law. Which law should we make to promote the prosperity and well-being of our people? Do we make laws to fetter the voice of those who are representing people?
He said that laws are not made to fetter the voice of those who are representing people, and if that is the case, they should have brought back Section 91, subsection 1. Jatta thus challenged his core lawmakers to wish for others what they wish for themselves. He added that the reason why they amended Section 91, subsection 1 was to grant protection to lawmakers from losing their seats should they be expelled by their parties.
We want to free people. We want people to have the capacity to individuate themselves. That is freedom. If you cannot individuate yourself, you are a slave. And you cannot represent people if you don't have the capacity to individuate yourself in terms of thought, in terms of action. We must always remember this.
He said the fact lawmakers are called honorable entails they are supposed to be truthful, sincere and honest people. But when he entered in the National Assembly and saw some assembly members who were not honorable, sincere and truthful, he decided not to be called honorable. He noted that one cannot be more honorable than the person who employs him or herself and arrogate him or herself from those paying him or her. Jatta stressed, colonialism is gone, and it is the people who decide, and it is the people who must be in control, and if lawmakers want to abuse their powers, the Constitution empowers the people to kick them out. Jacqueline Coley, reporting for Star TV News.
The Legislative House on Tuesday debated on the Forced Labor Amendment Bill 2020. The move was aimed at enacting a bill that sought to eliminate forced labor on pregnant women and children, as well as eliminate all forms of discrimination against women. Some members raised the need for the extension of maternity leave for pregnant and breastfeeding women to at least 9 months or more. Mariama Dem was at the National Assembly, but Mode Elbaji reports.
The move was meant to review and repeal the provisions in the Forced Labor Act found to be discriminatory against women and girls in the Gambia in furtherance of the international obligation, constitution and connected matters. Moving the bill for second reading, Justice Minister Dauda Jallow said the amendment is the first of its kind on the continent. He said that it is the trailblazer for the recognition, observance, and domestication of the international obligations and commitments related to women's rights into domestic laws.
What was there before, Section 71 of the Labor Act gives 6 weeks leave before and 6 weeks after. But not only that, under the Labor Act, for you to be entitled to that leave, there are preconditions. For example, you have to be working in that institution for about 2 years before you can be entitled to those maternity leave, which are very discriminatory. Some women have to lose their jobs because their employers tell them, you are not yet due for maternity. So I don't think it should lie with the employer to determine when a child bearing a woman should decide to bear a child. So that is to remove those conditionalities that are in the Labor Act. So it becomes automatic. Even if I employ you today, 1 month down the line you conceive, or you are due for maternity, you want to proceed, it's your right. You can be allowed to proceed without a threat to your job. So those requirements, conditions that are attached to the leave will now be removed. So that will bring it in line with the Women's Act 2010, which makes it automatic. Any woman of childbearing age that conceives and wants to proceed on leave may proceed. So what was there is the 6 weeks before, 6 weeks after. But also the condition that you need to be 2 years continuous service.
Bileji Tunkara, National Assembly member for Kantora, who seconded the bill, said the move was in the right direction since it sought to insert a new element to complement or enrich the bill. He, however, stressed the need to give women maternal leave, but there needs to be safeguards whereby employers will bear in mind that they cannot force women to perform certain taxes which pose risks, are hazardous, and a threat to their health. He said that the bill was to protect the rights of juveniles to address the problem of child labor, saying it was the fundamental duty of every government to protect the rights of its juvenile from forced labor. He said the improper upbringing and lack of education shatters the hopes of juvenile and that poses threats to the national security of countries. He urged that juveniles be protected against all forms of exploitations, adding that this helps in building a brighter future for both the juveniles and women, which the bill aspires to guarantee. The majority leader and member for Kombo South, Keba Kebaro, said the bill came at the right time. He acknowledged that the objects and the reasons of the bills were crucial and were in line with the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. Nominated member Yakuma Jete buttressed on the importance of the 6 months maternity leave for women.
The reason why the 6 months is important and the reason why I think it is capped at 6 months, even though I agree with the Honourable Member of Woolly East and the Honourable Member of Vietnam, that we would like for it to be extended to 1 year or maybe even 9 months. In other countries you have 3 months before that and then 6 months after that. But just to enlighten some of the members of why the 6 months. This is because women are advised now to exclusively breastfeed the first 6 months of a child's life. And if you are exclusively breastfeeding, that means you cannot be away from your child for a long period of time, because as a mother I've experienced this and I know you will need to feed them at least maybe 12 times or more in a day. And this is necessary because 75% of brain development occurs from conception to 2 years. So it would have been great if we would have a maternity leave that will cover the first 2 years of the child's life so that women can be encouraged to breastfeed. And this has direct impact on the GDP of a nation. Because if you have children who are well nourished, it erases, who are well breastfed, it erases the issue of malnutrition. That is another addition why this bill is quite very important.
National Assembly member for Woolly West, Honorable Sidia Jata, also proposed the maternity leave extension, as women are given 6 months maternity leave at their various workplaces. Men are provided with 10 days maternity leaves. However, some NAMs raised the issue of discrimination against men by the ministry and proposed the extension of the 10 days to at least 1 month. Since the enactment of the Women's Act in 2010, significant strides have been made to enforce the law and to protect women in line with the provisions of the Act. After the debate on the merits and reasons of the bill, it was moved to the Assembly Business Committee for committance to either a particular relevant committee or the Committee of the whole House for scrutiny, recommendations and advice to the plenary. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
The chairman of Birkama Area Council, Sirifo Sanko, asserted that no degree of intimidation can stop him from completing his mandate as chairman. He made this remark in an exclusive interview over the weekend at his office in Birkama as the United Democratic Party executives called on him to abdicate. Modu Elbaji has the rest of the story.
The Birkama Area Council Chairman Sirifo Sonko assumed office through the ticket of the United Democratic Party UDP in 2017, but his support for the President's development agenda has tricked his relationship with UDP to be soured and lingering in the minds of many whether Chairman Sonko will resign and eventually test his popularity through the ballot box or not. However, Mr. Sonko alleged that his allegiance to the laws of the land and the president's development plans gave birth to the antagonism between him and his party officials. Chairman Sonko further pointed out the basis on which the UDP wants him to vacate his position. Moreover, the United Democratic Party's spokesperson, Almame Fandingtal, highlighted their position and some of the reasons why they want to eject Chairman Sonko from office. He noted that the people of West Coast region called on the party executives to expel Sirifo Sonko as a result of his ill service to the people of his constituency.
What Mr. Sonko has not done is to serve the people of West Coast region. And the people of West Coast region wrote a petition to the executive of the party. And based on that petition, these are the same people who elected him. First, in a primary that was organized by the UDP in a very democratic way. And I can tell you with total confidence that if at all it was not for the executive that he is now criticizing, and the party leader, His Excellency Alhaji Ousainou Darboe, the primary would not have happened and he would not have been a candidate. So for me, I really want this to be clear to everybody listening to this program, that UDP as an internally democratic party has a lot of people who are not on the same side on every issue. People within the party disagree about decisions, whether it is made by the party leader or is made by the executive. People have been very democratic within the context of the UDP. And it is within this internal party democracy, but also within the context of party discipline, that Mr. Sonko was expelled, initially by the executive committee. But some members still within the UDP believe that that was not the most effective route. But let me be also clear here, the executive of our party can expel a member of the party. The Central Committee can expel a member of the party. The party Secretary General and leader, under the right circumstances, can also expel. So there are three ways that the UDP can expel somebody from membership of the party.
The Local Government Act is currently on a sour debate by members of parliament at the National Assembly as whether expelled members should lose their seats or not. Meanwhile, the United Democratic Party has expelled some of its members at the National Assembly, ward councillors, and the chairman of the Brikama Area Council. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
The newly quarantined include 17 health workers who had contacts with the diseased health care worker, case 061. The rest were picked from different points of entry into the country. The country currently has 364 people in quarantine, 31 active cases, and 8 probable cases. Bintakoli has the rest of the details.
The disease was the first documented COVID-19 case among health workers. He worked as a senior nurse at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. In addition to having had an underlying health condition, a non-diabetic, he also has severe pneumonia-like symptoms. A sample was only collected from him after his demise on the 4th of July, and a positive test results returned on the 5th July. No new laboratory test results received. Follow-up of 24 low-risk contacts of an existing case successfully completed with none exhibiting symptoms similar to those of COVID-19. While 24 persons were newly taken into quarantine, 1 new person have been discharged. The Ministry of Health in their report on Tuesday indicated the next steps to be taken, and they include provisions of adequate stocks of PPEs to all health facilities, health workers to observe all COVID-19 preventive measures, including the donning of appropriate PPEs at all times, provide incentive packages and expedite the payment of allowances to all response staff, and so there is uninterrupted electricity supply either by the procurement and installation of a solar system or the provision of a standby generator, fumigations of the ferries and the ferry terminals, mass testing targeting taxi drivers and other high-risk groups, testing of low-risk contacts at the commencement and end of follow-ups. Video clubs should remain closed despite the resumption of Europe's football leagues. There should be more security presence at all points of entry around the country to ensure that no people are smuggled into the country. Expedite the process of getting all relevant response staff trained on e-surveillance as indicated in the daily report on the fight against the COVID-19 by the Ministry of Health. For Star TV News, I am Binta Kuli.
Well, we are going for a short commercial break. We'll be back with the international stories. Please stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Marom ni nan kuwol fo jaxalo wata bay ngi ko ko jande ak girel na fi fo be fela be fada fi fo be fada marom be kel nyami jang ha ni nga jam bando ni bare ni nay fele do ko bala de inu mbara abra inu mbara ni ko do buga nyamoti ha mo janti kay ndungi be do ko bala jang ko mbe do ko walal de bar fenkil nañ jaxal jang nga fem fi jabu ka bete nga fem fi jabu ka bete nga fem fi yang ko jaxal dafa marom be kel nyaati de ne jambando soto angare nyeng ne o soto yake jang ila soto fengo fam be yiru wala je jambando ha wato alhamdulillah sa jambando mo so la nyaadi le sañi moli abula le kata fan kata depo nyinto hani ni futata je depo to sañi buka wafi de ka kodo ta mo bulu ka boto dila wo bo sañi wo botale sañi mimbe kering wolem nyinti ko reliance ibita wolto ye kodo jo ne kodo jo reliance ka risitol dia risito nyinga ku matal de wori sito nyi niadila ika wole samba depo nyintu ne risito di yela jambando soto comme ngi yek mo fu nyami ngamoyle nim fana bodo jang ko tanke mbira jambando sanna GGC wole Gambia Groundnut Corporation wolle be mararen nyi jambando la kola andu ila nyi jang ngalo ne nyi jambando ni yake jang ifam ba fa la nyela tumondo bar be jambando xel fana nga jibe nim bodo ya mbita wolto mbita sekro direct nim tara je rek be jambando sanna oto mbaadiŋol ñewode ñul naatale kana mol dahandi GGC ka jambando data la mole fadala si ceme worwula he ñomu altentu baldi mbatu woto nimboru bayta ngata na jambando la ko do jo woto jang san mbe wutule ngata fo reliance nganna jambando la ko do jo jeto ngana risito ta ngata depo wala ngaji be CPMS katu ñintu la fulol de min suriyata na rek nin tara nga joje benna jambando sotla al nimbara bak ala baraka. Hey, alhamdulillah ñomu ala tan dubal moro ñina metu abde no sanal
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jeja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulaning. We are also producers of Jeja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.goshglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
ni ngeen di seetaane télévision mu ngi waaja soppeeku bu baax. Excaf Gambia ñoo indi DTT decoder yu bees di ngeen ci am GRTS, QTV, Star TV, Paradise TV ak MTA te doo fay dara. DTT decoder yi ñaari junni ak ñeent fukki dalasi rek la mooy jar. teg ci dinañ la may lu tollu ci benn weer di nga seetaan yeneen channel si biir àddina si te doo fay benn xaalis. waaye boo bëggee continuer seetaan lu weesu juróom benn fukki channel da nga war a subscribe, maanaam weer bu nekk di nga fay juróomi téeméer ak fukki dalasi rek nga seetaan football leagues yépp si àddina si, news, African music, telenovela film yu neex, music, cartoon pour xale yi ak yeneeni channel. kon nag gaaw leen na gaaw jënd DTT decoder sa Excaf showroom ba ca Sénégambia fi Dream Park nekkoon mbaa seeni agents yu nekk ci biir réew mi. call leen 446 1060 446 1061 ak DTT decoder àddina bi mu ngi si sa cati loxo.
Welcome back after that short commercial break, and we now look at the news beyond our borders. U.S. killing of Iran's Qasem Soleimani, unlawful UN expert. The U.S. drone strike that killed top Iranian general Qasem Soleimani in January was illegal. That is the conclusion of the United Nations Special Rapporteur on extrajudicial killings. Agnes Kalamat says the assassination near Baghdad International Airport was against the UN Charter. Al Jazeera's Ravi mainly reports.
Top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was popular among many in Iran, but was considered a dangerous threat to the US by President Donald Trump. That was the justification for a drone attack on Soleimani's convoy as he left Baghdad airport on January the 3rd, killing him and Iraqi commander Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes, among others. A killing that's been called unlawful by UN investigator Agnes Kalamat. The Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Killings said in a report on Tuesday, in light of the evidence that the US has provided to date, the targeting of General Soleimani and the deaths of those accompanying him constitute an arbitrary killing for which, under international human rights law, the US is responsible.
This attack is different from all the drone strikes the United States has engaged in because it targeted a senior figure in the Iranian government. So whatever you want to say about Soleimani's history and his alleged offenses against the United States and other countries, he was a senior figure in the Iranian military, and we killed him at a time when we're not at war with Iran. So it seems like an act of war against Iran, or under other definitions, an assassination.
Soleimani was the leader of the Quds Force, the overseas arm of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. He helped strengthen Iran's ties with the armed group Hezbollah, backed Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and his forces played a key role in fighting ISIL in Syria and Iraq. But on Trump's accusation that Soleimani was planning to attack US targets, he was legally justifying an attack based on self-defense. Kalamat says there was insufficient evidence provided of an ongoing or imminent attack. Kalamat says a killing by an armed drone violated the UN Charter, meaning it was breaking international law. Donald Trump had pulled the US out of the Human Rights Council in 2018. The report will be presented to it on Thursday. The US may well largely ignore it, but as Kalamat points out in her report, it may lead to international pressure for greater regulation of targeted killings by armed drones. Laura Burden-Manley, Al Jazeera.
Trump calls for reopening of U.S. schools amid COVID-19 pandemic. As the coronavirus pandemic hit the United States in March, states and localities nationwide shut down public and private schools, affecting more than 55 million students. Now authorities are trying to figure out how to reopen for the next school year. U.S. President Donald Trump continues to downplay the resurgence of the pandemic and insists he wants schools to reopen in the new school year. Al Jazeera's Mike Hanna reports from Washington, D.C.
Texas was one of the first states to ease its mitigating measures, responding to pressure from President Trump in mid-April, who insisted he wanted states to open up to restart the economy. Now it's dealing with a massive increase in infections, joining Florida in recording more than 10,000 cases in a day, a figure matched only by New York State in the early stages of the pandemic.
In the next 2 weeks, we are probably going to end up being what New York was 2 months ago. I think that's what's going to happen.
Tana Ingraham has been an ICU nurse for 17 years. Last week, she went from caring for patients to becoming a patient herself after testing positive.
I literally at one point in time asked God to take me. The pain was ridiculous. It was to the point where, I mean, in my mind, I couldn't breathe. Thank God I didn't have to be put on a ventilator.
The Republican governor who ordered the early opening of Texas is now dialing back and reimposing mitigating measures, including the wearing of masks.
We will not have to shut it down if everyone will follow this very simple rule, and that is just get a mask like this. Wear it, make sure that you don't get COVID-19 and you don't give it to anybody else.
But the US president continues to be maskless, and even as the cases surge, is now putting pressure on governors to open schools for the new year at the end of August.
What we want to do is we want to get our schools open. We want to get them open quickly, beautifully in the fall. And as you know, this is a disease. It's a horrible disease, but young people do extraordinarily well.
The reaction from teachers was furious.
That is so callous of him. So callous. When we do it wrong, people die. Little people can get sick. You have asthma, you've got bad allergies, and you're 6 years old. You could die if we do this wrong.
There was anger too among many in Congress, which was officially notified that President Trump is pulling the United States out of the World Health Organization. The notice period is 12 months, so the US will actually only leave the WHO in July next year. Between then and now is an election, and presidential candidate Joe Biden says one of his first acts as president will be to reverse the decision. Effectively, it will be up to the voters to decide. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Washington.
UNSC, Russia, China veto cross-border aid extension to Syria. Russia and China have vetoed a United Nations Security Council resolution that will have extended cross-border humanitarian aid to 3 million Syrians for a year. The operation, which is authorized until Friday, brings in supplies from Turkey without interference from the Syrian government. Aid workers have called the veto reprehensible. Al Jazeera's James Bay reports from the UN headquarters in New York.
Earlier this year, the US ambassador to the UN, Kelly Craft, visited one of the border crossings used to bring much-needed aid into Syria. Accompanied by the UN's top humanitarian official Mark Lowcock, she was shown the Bab al-Hawa crossing, considered a vital lifeline for the people in the last main opposition enclave in the province of Idlib. Speaking on a Facebook Live link-up with a young Syrian, Ambassador Craft appealed to the other members of the Security Council to renew permission to deliver aid across the border.
We must ensure that the Syrian people get life-saving food and medicine, and this is just a basic need. This is a result, this is between life and death, and I cannot stress the importance of this week's vote on the cross borders.
This wasn't the only appeal to the UN Security Council in the hours before the vote. A UN Commission of Inquiry has released its latest report on human rights abuses in Syria, giving a damning assessment of what it describes as acts amounting to war crimes. The chairman of the commission added this.
The very least the Security Council can do now is to renew and strengthen the cross-border and cross-line aid operations. Pandemics know no borders, nor should humanitarian aid.
Those pleas went unanswered.
The result of the voting is as follows: 13 votes in favor, 2 votes against, no abstentions. The draft resolution has not been adopted owing to the negative votes of 2 permanent members of the Council.
Both Russia and China use their veto power. We're seeing a repeat of what happened 6 months ago. Until that point, the UN had 4 border crossings authorised for aid delivery. After using its veto in December, Russia managed to get that reduced to 2 crossings. With the clock now ticking until the existing authorisations run out on Friday, having used its veto once again, Russia is now likely to push for just 1 approved checkpoint, greatly reducing the amount of aid that can be delivered to opposition areas. James Bays, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.
And before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. In a press release sent to media houses, the Gambia Armed Forces frowns upon military items sold by businessmen and warned it could lead to criminal acts by civilians. Sidia Jatha, Member of Parliament for Woolly West, told lawmakers on Monday that parochial consideration of law has delayed the Gambia for over 22 years. Jatha said this while delivering on the motion to amend Local Government Amendment Bill 2020. The chairman of Birkama Area Council, Sirifo Sanko, asserted that no degree of intimidation can stop him from completing his mandate as chairman. He made this remark in an exclusive interview over the weekend at his office in Birkama as the United Democratic Party executives call on him to abdicate. The newly quarantined includes 17 health workers who had contacts with the deceased health care worker, case 061. The rest were picked from different points of entry into the country. The country currently has 364 people in quarantine, 31 active cases and 8 probable cases. The U.S. drone strike that killed top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in January was illegal. That is the conclusion of the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Killings. Agnes Kalamat says the assassination near Baghdad International Airport was against the UN Charter. As the coronavirus pandemic hit the United States in March, states and localities nationwide shut down public and private schools, affecting more than 55 million students. Now authorities are trying to figure out how to reopen for the next school year. U.S. President Donald Trump continues to downplay the resurgence of the pandemic and insists he wants schools to reopen in the new school year. Russia and China have vetted a United Nations Security Council resolution that will have extended cross-border humanitarian aid to 3 million Syrians for a year. The operation, which is authorized until Friday, brings in supplies from Turkey without interference from the Syrian government. Aid workers have called the veto reprehensible. Well, that's all for this edition of the news. Please do enjoy the rest of our programs and join us tomorrow for more news. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful night. It's bye for now.